Hello everyone, Danielle Carpino here of Humble Tree Homestead. It is Saturday, July 8th at like 7:45 in the morning. We're at 72 degrees already in Washington State, Zone 7, and we're gonna try to beat this heat and get a garden tour in for you guys for this week. There has been drastic changes this week in the garden. We have had mid to high 90s all week long. We're supposed to be hitting 103 the next 2 days. So we are in the thick of summer around here. This week brought many challenges. We had our first issues with a plant that did not tolerate the heat very well, our Thelma Sanders. I'll kind of go quickly over what we did, but I do have that coming up in a video. We harvested our first basil out of our garden this week. We have, I harvested some marigolds for a salve that I'm going to be making. We have peppers that are coming on, so you're gonna see the garden has changed a significant amount in 1 week. I'm actually very shocked. For those of you guys who don't know, this is my first year doing an in-ground garden. I have done container gardening for about 5 years in a very, very small space, which I'll show you guys in a later video as well. And this is the first time that we're doing in-ground gardening. So this is a learning process for us. This is all new, which, I mean, in reality, I mean, what isn't in the agriculture business each year brings its own challenges and everything like that. But why I tell you this is we're learning. This is a learning process, and I am excited to take you guys on our journey. You guys are starting from square one with us here and working towards our homesteading dreams. And it's very exciting to be documenting this process and sharing it with each one of you. So without any further ado, I guess we'll just go ahead and get started on the garden tour. The garden has drastically changed since the last time we met. Right up here, this was down at least 2 squares from the top for our first one, and it has exceeded and gone above and beyond. It's just so crazy to see how much everything can change in a week's time in a garden. I am so shocked because when I was doing my container gardening, things grew, right? But they were very limited in the space that they grew. I knew plants weren't reaching their potential. I knew that they weren't producing like they could have if they were in the ground because they weren't getting as much nutrients, and it's doable. It's totally doable. And there are some things that I really liked about container gardening. But however, there was a lot of supplementation that was needing with fertilizers and nutrients and things like that. And where I was growing, so for those of you who don't know, we moved from the upstairs duplex so that my grandparents can move back, and we moved into the bottom one early this March, and that's why we now have an in-ground garden, because we actually have space. But you see that little tiny right there? That is where I gardened before. Very, very small space comparatively speaking to what I have now. We're hoping next year to actually hopefully we can do this, run a bed all along the fence line and do an herbal and botanical, like medicinal garden over there that also brings in pollinators and things. But so with all that, I just say, it's a different experience altogether, and it's been really exciting and fun to see the changes and just learn. I like to learn new things. So I've always had an interest in horticulture and things of that nature, but this is just a totally different ballpark, and it's been really fun to learn and experience the whole thing, and I'm really excited about what this year and future years are going to bring. We have our pepper row. If you remember from last week, you will look and see that it is full, thriving, producing, just doing amazing. The first 2 plants of shishitos are loaded. absolutely loaded with shishitos, which I am really excited because we will be doing blistered shishitos for dinner probably tomorrow night with an aioli, because we have some that are definitely ready to go, and I'm beyond excited about that. You can see all of my pollinators are just budding out and blooming, and new buds coming on. One's about to open. You can just see the ground cover has really began to spread more, actually covering that ground up. The Shisho Burton over here is full and producing. We've got a new wave of flowers coming on all of our borage. Added a new plant, another Thai basil back there, because the other one wasn't doing great, but now it's doing good. So now we're gonna have extra Thai basil, which is good, because I have a Thai beef salad that I like to make, and so that'll be very helpful to have, because it's kind of hard to find Thai basil around here. This is our California green bell pepper. That one plant that, you know, is taking forever and way behind every other plant. It does seem to have new leaf sets on it. It seems to be growing. So I'm hoping that it really just needed some heat and will actually start to turn around from there. It is growing, so we'll see if we get something out of it. If not, well, I guess it's just a learning curve. We have our echinacea that finally opened up. Isn't it beautiful? I love that raspberry kind of color on it. Got a bunch more about to come on. I love medicinal plants, so that's always nice, that, especially when they bring in pollinators. The sweet Carolina pepper is definitely produced. Remember last week I wasn't sure if it was getting any fruit on, but as you can see, those were fruit that I was seeing on there. So we're starting to get those on our sweet pepper. Next in line, oh, I'm so excited. So I actually didn't see this, but we do have some banana peppers coming on. So that's awesome. That's what this one is. I don't know how I didn't see those yesterday, but they're there, so good. Yay, we have some banana peppers. That means I can actually make some pepperoncinis. The next one in our lineup is the lemon drop. Again, tons of blossoms on all of these. Tons of fruit starting to set in. The lemon drop. This one's the one that's supposed to be a spicy pepper that has a lot more of those fruit notes to it. Again, I don't need the spicy peppers, my husband does, but he will be happy with those. Then we have a Thai pepper plant, which is my husband's favorite. This is, as you can see, much easier to see all of the fruit on there. Going from the Thai pepper, we had that Thai basil. Remember how pitiful it looked last week and it wasn't doing well, and I said that I didn't think it was going to make it? Well, here we are. It is doing good. Don't give up on the plants. Just keep trying, nurturing them, and seeing what they can become. Petunias are just blooming, spreading, doing great. We haven't had much issues with pests so far, knock on wood. Hopefully we can keep that at bay. The petunias will help to draw aphids if there is ever a problem down to them instead of the plants. I have seen a praying mantis little friend living in our garden. I don't see him very often, but I know that he's there and he's doing his job. So right here, that's that new basil plant. It has probably doubled in size this week. It's just doing great. Again, with all of the shishito peppers, I'm so excited to see all those shishitos. The other thing that we did this week is I lined up all of my pavers and I laid compost in the first aisle. I'm working on doing it in the other 3 aisles as well. So remember how I said that we faced our first issue with our garden? The Thelma Sanders squash right here looks great now. Does not like the heat actually doesn't even like the sun on it anymore. It's such a little delicate plant. So what we actually ended up doing is we got a like a beach umbrella that right here, and we zip tied it to the T-post. You can see the umbrella's laying down right there. And we put that over this once the sun hits it. Seems to still be getting enough sun off of the sides, you know, to help it grow, but it helps it to where it doesn't get so limp and weak. You'll see in a future video the issue that I had with it, but basically all of these just completely lose their structure. There's no pests. There hasn't been any issues with pest or lack of water or anything like that. The more I started researching it, the more I found out that certain plants like squashes will do that to reduce the surface area of the plant that is getting contact with the sun to cool the plant down. So it does that as a defense mechanism to really help keep the plant cool and thriving and not wilting. As you can see up here, this is what it did. See how crunchy and dry that leaf is? So it does not like the sun. Like, as the sun is starting to come up, I'm gonna have to put that umbrella on. So if you guys remember last week, there was 2 squares from the top, and we're well above that. Some of them have started falling back down and going through the plant and doing its thing, but our Armenian cucumber is thriving and doing great in this heat. And that's part of why we went with the Armenian cucumber, is because it's said to be able to do really well in heat, and we have lots of heat here. So and it seems to be doing exactly as promised. Somewhere on here, let me locate it. Where'd it go? There it is. I have my first cucumber, guys. Welcome to the world, little baby cucumber. We have an Armenian cucumber right there. I've been seeing many male blossoms on this, but I hadn't seen any of the female ones, or I had seen female ones, but they weren't really growing. Came out one day and went, oh, well, hello there. So that was like 2 days ago that I noticed that. So I'm very excited for the Armenian cucumber to grow. Right here we have the Petite de Gris melon. Again, this one I think was probably like to this rung. You can see it succeeded, gone above and beyond. A bunch of new ones that I have to just weave in. This is what we do, is we just come out and weave it through and give it, you know, a little support. And this is how we're trellis gardening. And let me tell you, several times throughout a day, you have to come out here and weave little parts. See this one right here, how the whole thing is green. The flower is the only part that's dry, versus this one where that end is yellow. That's how you know it did not get fertilized. This is fertilized. This one is not fertilized. So you can see we have our first sweet baby watermelon that came on. Remember, this plant barely just touched right there. Now it's all the way around. I broke the tip off of the watermelon. I was so devastated, but it's grown a new shoot and everything off of there, a new vine. We have 3 other ones that are joining the party of the trellis. Again, pollinators are doing great. One thing I did learn this week, the ornamental oregano does not like direct sunlight. All the ones that are down this aisle that don't have sun on it all day did fine. These ones dried up. So that's one thing. Partial sun, I would say, probably for the ornamental oregano, which is good to know, because I was going to put those in my planters next year, but I'll do that only in my shade planters. So as you can see, we have fruit that's opening up blossoms. We have male and female on here. I'll be doing a video kind of identifying and showing you guys the difference between male and female blossoms, so be sure to tune in for that one. But as you can see, we're doing great. Like, everything's, you know, producing and going going at it. It's a little further behind than some gardens are, but that's because we got a later start on it. I had my first Thelma Sanders set blossom today, male and female. So this is the female. I took off the, I'll show this in another video as well. I took off the male blossom, tore away the petals, put the stamen inside and helped to pollinate it, just to make sure that there was pollen in there. And I just kind of set it in there. I just noticed that there was a bee in there working it as well, so that's exciting. I'll come and take that out shortly, but I just wanted to make sure that it got fertilized because I have been impatiently waiting for that to open up. Our aisle over here of tomatillos. As you can see, we are not going to have a shortage of tomatillos. This is our purple tomatillo plant. I'm going to get you right in there and you're going to see we have plenty of purple tomatillos that are coming on. And then over here we have the green one. The green tomatillo, as you can see, is growing much taller. It's probably about to my neck in height, and it's doing great growth wise. It's finally starting to actually set fruit on it. I wasn't really getting any fruit. I was getting lots of blossoms, no fruit, but now we're starting to actually get fruit on it. But let me turn you around for comparison. I am 5 foot, probably almost 9, and this is how tall this plant's getting. So it'll be interesting to see what this one does. Moving along, we have this, as you can see, this row gets a lot more shade. The alyssum isn't quite filling in as much. The ground cover kind of things aren't doing, it's not that they're doing bad, they just don't get as much sun to like really thrive. I have a volunteer marigold that's coming up. Our salvia is getting ready to bloom again. And then over here we have a bee working this lovely flower. Thank you very much, Mr. Bee. But our zucchini is actually male and female. Yay! So we should have a zucchini maybe coming soon. So anyways, our zucchini had 2 male flowers. I again self-pollinated because I wasn't sure if a bee would get to it and I want to have zucchini, and so I came out and self-pollinated. But we have 2 and it looks like the bees are working it, so I'm excited about that. Plant's doing great. Video coming on how we're training it to go up instead of out. Then we have the Ronde Day Nice squash over here, and as you can see, we have a female and we had a male to the party as well. So I came out here and did my job of pollinating so that hopefully we get another one. Lots of new shoots, lots of new blossoms and blooms and fruit that will be coming soon. And as you can see, we have our first Ronde Day Nice that is actually got fertilized and going to be producing fruit for us right there. I don't think it's fruit. Actually going to be producing a vegetable for us there. So that is that row. Doing great. Tomato row. My goodness, if these have not grown. I am shocked. I have to come out here and I need to actually thin them out and prune them again, but we are definitely seeing a difference from last week. So in here we have multiple clusters on the peach, tomato, bunch of new blooms coming on. So luckily that shade cloth is helping us to not drop blossoms. They're not getting sterile in our weather. For those of you who don't know, tomatoes, when they are above 90 degrees, will start to drop blossoms, and that's why the shade cloth is coming into play, because we have been well above 90 degrees. So that helps to keep it cool so that it can grow. We've got new fruit coming on there. Blossoms throughout. Everything seems to be producing very well for us. We have an early girl down here, which has multiple clusters throughout the plant. The Prudence purple or Cherokee purple tomato plant is just alive and thriving. I'm not the only thing getting color in our garden. We have our first blushing cherry tomatoes, which I'm really excited about. The clusters are just loaded with the sweet millions. I have a new cluster that are formed up here this week. We've got new blossoms, new growth coming on that. Very excited for my snacks in the garden. Now, as you can see, this garden bed gets more sun because it doesn't have the vines right by it, and see how much fuller that is from the previous row. We have our Siam basil, which is a brand new basil that I got. This one will actually have clusters of purple flowers on it. It's a flowering basil that I have never tried, but I thought, well, that'd be fun. Welcome, Mr. B. Have your moment in the spotlight. Thank you for all your hard work. And then over here, again, that's that Prudence purple, Cherokee purple, just thriving and doing its best to produce and give us fruit. We have new clusters coming on here. We have on our Virginia Sweets, we have some new babies coming on there. Our Kellogg's breakfast one has some. I can't find them right now. Where'd it go? I don't know. We have some on, like, every single plant has some tomatoes on it, which is really very exciting. They hide from me sometimes. Right there. Show you these ones again. This is that cluster that I showed you last week. Much bigger than it was before. We got some coming on here. So that is the eating tomato row. Then we have sauce tomato row over here. And we have the first two plants are the Corday Boo. I don't know if I'm saying that right, so correct me nicely if that's incorrect. But just look at those heirloom tomatoes. I love the looks of them so much. We have blossoms. We have more tomatoes, more tomatoes, more tomatoes, more blossoms. It's all just doing so great. I'm so happy to see, even with our hot weather, that this is still producing for us. So we have 2 of the Corday Boo. We have 3 San Marzinos, which the fruit is more on the other side. So I'll just show you the healthy plants and how good they look. And they're thriving and doing great. But on the other side, I'll show you the actual fruit. And then we have our very last one here is a yellow pear tomato. These are going to be just little tiny tomatoes that are pear-shaped and yellow in color. So that's those right there. I think they're very cute. They remind me of like Thumbelina or a fairy or something. I don't know. There goes Danielle and her whimsicalness, but I just think they're the cutest things. So those will be really fun. Basil, we harvested basil this week. I have a video on harvesting basil. Doing great. That was 2 days ago, and we have new shoots coming on all of our basil. We did basil behind our entire sauce row because that will actually lend to the flavor of our sauces. So that's why we did that. You'll see, like I was saying, San Marzinos are just alive and well, producing great for us. This is a very dry tomato, which is what makes it ideal for making sauces with. You don't have to deal with a bunch of water content. Instead, you just get the flavor from it. Yeah, so there's our garden, you guys. We'll show it from this side. Look how great it's doing. It's doing so good. I'm so happy. Well, there you have it, our second garden tour of the 2023 growing year. This obviously isn't the second week of growing. We are about a month into it, but didn't get the chance to actually get the videos going until now. But that is the second tour. It's getting warm out here already. We're supposed to be 103 degrees, so I'm glad that we beat the heat with that. I am learning lots. I'm learning how to look at a plant to kind of identify what is maybe going on with it. And I'm just happy doing this, you guys. It's just a blessing, and it makes me really want to work towards our homesteading dream even more. Even though it's hot and I don't do heat well, I've just been doing things in succession, and I'm just really enjoying it. And I don't know, I encourage you to like just plant a plant and nurture it and take the time to look at it and care for it. Slow down, listen to the world around you. It's amazing when I'm out here how tranquil and peaceful I am, because my mind actually gets silenced for a little bit and I'm just focusing on the task at hand instead of a million other things. My brain goes a million miles an hour all the time, and it's always busy and it's always buzzing. And out here I stop and smell the roses, so to speak. I stop and I notice the bees and the pollinators, and it amazes me, and it's so neat just to see me slow down and see me just really appreciate the season that I'm in. I haven't liked summer for a very long time because I don't tolerate heat, but this makes it worth it and makes me I'm just happy. I'm just really happy. So I look forward to future garden tours with you guys and showing you guys what comes and learning together. And there will also be some cooking videos and just other things along the way. But I really want to thank you for joining us on this video. If you made it to the end, comment down below with a sunflower emoji, or say I'm here or something, you know, just let us know that you're here in the comments and interact with us. And we would like to ask you to subscribe, to like the video, share it with your friends, help us grow our channel so that we can work towards making our homesteading dream a reality. Until next week, you guys, I love you. Thanks for tuning in, and make this world a little bit happier and a little bit better of a place this week. Love you guys. Bye.